Bitcoin and crypto have a chance to not only race up this weekend, July 8th, 9th, 10th, but into next week as well, leading up to core CPI data, which is probably going to make Bitcoin go down along with traditional markets on July 13th. But we're going to see some most likely price paths for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto until that point. If you want to see what real trading looks like, a day trading crypto essentially, my daily P&L starts here and goes up. If you add all these together and subtract the red ones, you get $742.91. And as you can see, I just want everybody to see real live stuff here, that this is what trading looks like. It's not all winners, it's not all losers, but sometimes you'll have big wins and you have nice days, but mostly I've been up the last 3 or 4 days. And I want you to know that I did take my account in my journey from $5,000 to $100,000. I'm right just under 20,000 right now. And I reviewed this shortly in my last video, but I got it up to 22. I did stupid stuff for a while. I was wrong for a couple days, then just got hacked to death. So I made a higher low in my account around $15,000. I seem to be back in tune with the markets. I'm not getting pecked to death, getting stopped out by this compression move. So this is where we stand. The Grim Reaper, per my Twitter post with the Grim Reaper taking out the $22,000 door. I won't have another Grim Reaper until 23 is taken out. That I would say by next Friday. That would be my guess. By next Friday, you'll see Grim Reaper back, and I'll keep you updated on my journey to take an account from $5,000 to $100,000. I started on April 24th or so, and hopefully I'll get it to 100K before the end of the bear market. And also, one key thing to realize is yesterday, I think I had about an $820 day. Things have been bullish, right? And I shorted the whole damn time. Look at that. All of these are shorts. And I shorted during an up move, and I just did it with very, very precise entries. And so let's go get this Bitcoin. I want you to take a look at this shape. And if we could get these horizontals here, let's put them on mute. They're too noisy. All right, take a look at the anatomy of this. This is extremely important, what we're getting ready to cover here. Extremely important. And my point of control just disappeared again. Holy cow. Okay, well, I don't want the point of control anyway right now, so it kind of works. Look at the anatomy of this. A big drop, right? Volatility extremely high. Tries to start bouncing, second push down. Tries to start bouncing, third push down. So remember, after a strong move, particularly down, you then get a compression move. Typically, as I stated in my last video that was titled Bitcoin will move sideways at best for 10 to 30 days, and it moves sideways 31 days in total, right? That is a compression move where volatility is simply reducing until the next expansion of volatility. I would not count this, the expansion of volatility, yet on this level or beyond the parameters of this compression move. On this time frame that we're seeing, at least the 1 hour, in terms of where it is in this move from volatility to low, it's still under these highs here, so it's still compressing. Does that make sense? Even though volatility did get really low on time frames down here and is expanding, in general, if you're in this box, that means Bitcoin is still reducing its volatility before it decides its next direction. And I'm focusing particularly on these wicks that happened on the move down when it tried to start bouncing back in June 15th or so. These wicks are going to come and play. They're going to be very important. They could end up being the catalyst for Bitcoin to have a full-on reversal somewhere up there, and that's around 23 and change. So around 22.9 to 23.3, somewhere in that area. It's going to be hard for Bitcoin to get past, and I would not expect it just to blow past it, but that would be one possibility. So what we're going to do now that we understand what we're looking at, we're looking at a compression move after an extremely volatile downside, which my community and I made pretty good money off here. That's part of why I was able to race up to 22K pretty readily, because right when I started the journey, I got a lot of volatility and I rode it pretty well, but I'm not done. So I did well in this area shorting, and I did well in this area shorting. But yeah, longing has been really tough. And look at my account. Look, My red stuff is when I started longing. So I had one successful long here. Okay, but all these are shorts. Look, this is today. This is today. Short and an up move day. Short, up move day. Short and up move day. Then I realized, it's bullish. Now I'm going to try to start longing. That's where things get tricky. And the reason why this has happened, I cannot express this enough, is that in terms of the leverage that's out there, so I'm kind of getting off topic, but whatever. But this is important if you're clicking around with your money based off technical analysis. For whatever reason, and I think I know the reason, I'm going to say this here in a minute, it's harder to get in the longs right now. At least with the assumption you have responsible risk management. Because what these bots are doing, and the algos are doing, they're getting people out of trades who are using responsible risk management for longs, with a few exceptions. However, that exception just had a nasty move right before, which would scare people from going long, and I'll show you what that is here in a second during this compression move. Actually, I'll show it to you right behind me. So, people who were long, obviously, during night, this came straight down and zoomed straight up exactly on the 5-minute candle of traditional market open. This was a fake out. Therefore, it was easy. So let's go down to the 5-minute chart. After that point, okay, so this scared the shit out of everybody trying to long. Then it was easy to essentially get into a long, but it was after a big scare. So for me personally, I was scared to try to get into a damn long. I was just shorting the whole time, being pretty successful with altcoin, shorting them as they went up too high, went up to an easy, obvious horizontal, and then I took profits quickly. That was the key. I had to take profits quickly, and I did. So in an up move, you can do counter trend trades, but you have to take profits fast. Anyway, so the only time during this move it's been easy to get in the long, it was after a big scare where it screwed. It was a whale. This was a whale game. It was perfectly timed to hit this exact level, which is the bottom of my point of control that keeps disappearing. Darn it. It was perfectly timed with the market. This whole downside was a plan, and it zoomed right up, starting exactly at 9:30, literally. All right, but that's the whole point. It's not easy to get into longs right now for whatever reason. Now, if you're in a swing trade long, sure, but man, it is not easy to play small charts on Bitcoin and Ethereum right now longing. For shorting, you just saw I've been successful shorting this whole damn time, right? Okay, now where's Bitcoin going next? Its next pit stop are these wicks. 22, it could be as high as 22.9 to 23K. It might stop down here at 22.6, somewhere around there, because let me show you that wick. Let's zoom way in here. See that wick? So that's 22.6. That's 23.2. Is that? Yeah. This one way up here is 24. That actually could be an upper target. So Bitcoin could easily fly right up to 24 before cooling down. Damn. So that is a possibility for upper target. So if you're trying to plan what is Bitcoin's next destination for a move up, you literally just look left at the anatomy. So it's like, anatomy of a body, right? Well, this compression moves in crypto, they almost all look the same, right? Some humans are taller than others, and whatever. They're not exactly the same, but humans in general are pretty damn similar. If you know the anatomy of the human body, you can understand humans, right? So this is the anatomy of a compression move, right? When volatility is reducing, and I'm telling you, the next resistance point to which price will race if the next move is up. I'm not guaranteeing that the next move is up, but it'll be literally, you just look left. Look here, 22.9. Look here at this wick, 22.6. Look here, the highest one, about 24.2. Look here, nice wick up, 23.3. That might be my favorite one, 23.3, or this one here. Actually, no, 22.6 to this guy here is kind of the box that I'm looking for. All right, so let me put my box back on and see if that is where I put one. Nope, I put one just a little bit lower, actually. So my original box was the same wick down, and so I did say this one, but I went to this height here instead of that height here. So actually, I might want to change this. I might want to bring it up to that box. So this would be my most probable box, but I would put a big line on my chart at this wick up way back here at 24.2. Right here, Bitcoin could race right up to there before it even has a pullback. It could go straight to 24.1. I'm telling you, it is possible. Bitcoin, it has permission to go up this week, and I'm going to show you why here. So why would Bitcoin have permission to do this kind of stuff? So let me put a red line over here so we know that, hey, watch out. Bitcoin, could fly through our lower targets and really do some nasty work. It really could, and it could happen all before next week, honestly. All right, so now we have our 3 levels, and the first level is being used as support. So we're going to see what Bitcoin does as it approaches this level with a channel line. All right. Now, let me, things are going to make more sense here if I put my origin line, or not my origin line, my point of control back on. And for some reason, TradingView is being buggy with me. I've never had this happen before, but it simply keeps disappearing. It's almost as if it doesn't like rotated rectangles being on here. But the good thing is this recent move perfectly hit where the where the point of control is going to be, the fake out actually. So the fake out is the point. Did you see that just disappear? Am I going crazy? It just disappeared again with this line. Why would that happen? Oh my goodness. This is so crazy. All right, I even have this guy locked. It's not supposed to. All right, I'm having technical difficulties. Yeah, look, it just disappeared. This is nuts. All right, anyway, we'll rebuild the channel here right quick. Something to that effect. Get rid of this. And rotated rectangle. I want you to be able to see this, what that fake out did. That kind of scared me and scared most anybody who was trying to be long. It was a perfect play. All right, so now let's put the rotated rectangle into this channel, trend line into this channel, lock this bad boy so it can't be disappear. All right, I've already done this. All right, so check this out. This move down that I said was a fake out, okay, and it zoomed right up. Actually, no, it was back here. I need to get this right for you. I apologize. All right, it was this one right here. Oh, all right. Yeah, so that fake out move down, that was perfectly timed with the market. All right, so what whales did was they brought Bitcoin down on CMEs all night long, and exactly at 9:30 a.m. zoomed it up right up. Exactly at market open. Went from the top of the point of control to the bottom. Is that normal? I mean, sort of. Sometimes, but it doesn't happen that fast. This is honestly just ridiculous. But it was kind of obvious in hindsight if you have the point of control correctly placed. So let me lock this bad boy back up so no games can be played with me, and rock and roll. All right, now look at how high this could go. Take a look. It could take till, so July 13th, I will mark off. That's when core CPI data comes out, and it's likely going to cause the market to drop. And if you are big, a big whale, if you already have kind of free reign with traditional markets and Bitcoin to take it up, well, you know that you're limited on the time axis this way by July 13th. So given that the unemployment data, okay, that was released today, that is moderately high impact for traditional market. Traditional markets closed strong. Okay, they closed above an origin line and above a channel line. Like, this is a strong closure, and this is why Bitcoin does have permission from traditional finance to move up over the weekend. Like, forget about gaps. A gap can happen, and it has a good setup to happen. So these upper targets of 24K, I'm not saying that that's likely over the weekend, but it's not out of the realm of possibility because Bitcoin has permission to fly up this weekend, right? Because traditional markets close strong. The next thing that will bring traditional markets down, because everybody's listening to the news and making decisions based off the fly, is big money might want to raise things up until July 13th. Does that make sense? And that's next week. So given that there was a strong closure leading to the weekend, now the traditional markets are totally closed. Bitcoin is not tethered to the traditional markets, which close strong. Therefore, it can go up. Am I making sense here? So from a whale game perspective, there is permission to fly. I mean, for several days. And Bitcoin, a lot of people, sometimes my analysis says, I don't think it'll fly up this weekend, particularly after a not compelling closure of traditional markets. But this was this left the door open for bullish move next week in traditional markets. So Bitcoin, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 24K, but I don't think that's the most probable. I think the most probable is somewhere around these wicks that I was showing you at the beginning of the compression move. And here's a channel line. I'm kind of thinking 22.7 to maybe up to 23 and change. So 22.7 to 23 and change, and then it could honestly come up and use this as support. So if you want me to draw my magic, voodoo lines here, it could come up, get rejected, and come right down until the weekend and wait for traditional markets to bring it up, potentially, right? So it would have to go faster than that because this line is July 13th. So something to this effect could happen, okay, over the weekend, and then there's a pullback leading into next week, and then it races up once markets are open, something to that effect. Or what could happen all over this weekend is it flies up. It just goes do 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 do. Oop, let me try that again. It goes boom 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 boom. Why does my TradingView not like what I'm doing? Holy cow! Boom 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 boom. Bam! And uses this as support. Fake out goes back above until the weekend starts, and then traditional markets start out bullish, and then it races up and hits this over the weekend. I mean, throughout the week before July 13th, which is this green line here. I would not expect the red line to be hit over the weekend, which is 24 and change. However, it's possible because Bitcoin is amazing. Bitcoin price is even perhaps more amazing than Bitcoin itself. Yeah, no, that's not true. Bitcoin price is amazing. Bitcoin itself is also amazing. But Bitcoin price can do amazing things. Don't be surprised. So don't sell your house and try 100x long. Or 100x short here because it could blow through. It has a chance to blow through it. I'm telling you, it could, even though I don't think it's probable. So my most probable case over the weekend is the targets of 22.7 to about 23.2. Specifically, I think that's the most likely price path. What happens after that point, starting here, I don't know. This much is a guess, but there is permission for traditional finance to be bullish next week. Therefore, Bitcoin would, because Bitcoin literally just does what SPX does, and Bitcoin follows it. Bitcoin follows it. Almost to the 5-minute and 1-minute candles. It's to the point of being stupid, especially when trading hours are happening. But all that is closed right now, so Bitcoin is kind of free to fly, free to be Bitcoin again. And I personally think, at some points, weekend trading is easier because you don't have those trading freaking algos, the hedge fund algos doing stupid shit, trying to trick other bots and all that stuff. Weekend trading can be pretty cool because I feel that price is more natural. It really feels like it. I think there are fewer games over weekend. Now, does the weekend typically go the wrong direction and then it goes the other direction starting Monday? Sure, but who cares? During that time, it's just a natural movement, right? Okay. Now, could things break down from here? Absolutely. And what would be our, invalidation of an upside move, at least through the weekend? Well, if Bitcoin comes down and uses 21,300 as resistance, I'll write this down. This is a line that you need on your chart. If this, so not broken below, that's different. It needs to go below it and use as resistance. All right, so let's zoom way in here to the 5-minute chart and let me show you something, what that would look like. It would have to go below here somehow and then come up, use it as resistance, maybe make some lower highs, maybe go like that, use it as resistance, and then breaks the first lowest low like that. So right there. So at the moment, so see this lower low it makes a lower low as it goes below the first time, the 21.3, right? You see that? And typically whatever local low it makes, it'll then come up, use it as resistance, maybe make a few higher lows, whatever. But at the moment, that price has gotten rejected and it ticks down, I think it's about a 50-50 whether or not you can have an up move. But once it breaks that local low right here, that's when an upside move over the weekend becomes invalidated. Does that make sense? On that journey, so let me show you. So right here, as 21.3 is broken, yeah, upside move becomes a lot less probable. It might be closer to 50-50 at that point, right? Or maybe even a tiny bit in favor of downside. But it's not totally invalidated. The probabilities don't totally flip until you use it as resistance and then break the original local low that it formed as it first came below it. And that would be at this point right here. It finally broke below that point there after using this as resistance. And in this case, I used resistance 3 times. It might only be once or twice. It usually is twice though, not always. And in more rarer cases, it goes straight down and never uses it as resistance. So in that case, you would look at this local low. If it did just slam down, if it breaks this local low, well then the up move is invalidated. If it flies through and breaks that local low, then yeah, the upside is invalidated as well. It's almost the same level, right? Okay, now, so it could look something like this. Boom. It could do a failure, boom, 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 rejection, and then head down. And so at the moment right here, again, it's not, the upside for the weekend is not invalidated, but at the point right there, after it goes below that point, okay, that's when the upside for the weekend is totally invalidated around the 21.3 line. So you have to understand how the candles react. It's how the candles dance. Like, again, I'm using an analogy with animals and how they move, but I promise you it's a great analogy. Not only do different altcoins move differently than Bitcoin, right? But their indicators move differently. And within Bitcoin itself, different time frames often can move, not time frames. Time frames typically move similar to other time frames on different scales. It actually moves almost identically. I was saying that wrong. But within Bitcoin itself, a compression move moves differently than an expansion move. That's why this whole move that we're looking at behind me here is one big compression move. Does that make sense? That's why I started the video off by showing you this is a compression move, so we know what type of environment we're dealing with, and we know what to expect, or we can set forth a little bit better expectations. This is not, this is the 17.5's the low. No, there's no reason to think that. It's still within the compression move. And so people calling about lows and all that stuff, they literally, if they're going beyond thinking of it as a possibility, if they're calling lows, first off, they're clueless and you probably don't need to use them as a source of information. But if folks are saying it's possible that the low is in, yeah, okay, it's possible. I've discussed that too. Some of my indicators per the previous cycles, they're at where the bottom is. But I think this cycle is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot worse because the stock market's really going down and it's going to continue going down. And Bitcoin has never lived through that, right? So there are a lot of things. If this were similar to the previous 2 bear markets, yeah, actually, I would be saying, and the stock market was still making all-time highs, yeah, I would say we're probably at a low as well. But anyway, so that's what we have going for this weekend. This should get you through the whole weekend. All right. You know when to, you know exactly what to look for if upside is invalidated, therefore downside is more probable, right? You know the exact moment and how price will move and exactly when downside becomes more probable. And until that happens, upside is more probable, and then the shade of gray between, which is what I showed you over here. There are some moments where it could be a 50-50 coin flip. However, but I don't think there will be much time. I don't think it'll spend much time in that 50-50 zone. It'll be maybe a couple hours if this were to happen, but over the weekend, there probably won't be more than 2 to 4 hours of a 50-50 situation coin flip. Rather, I think you're either going to stay above this line majority or go below it after only spending an hour or two here in the 50-50 zone before it then becomes probable. So I think that it should be pretty clear what's going to happen this weekend. I think the TA is fairly simple. It's pretty straightforward. Could a fake out happen? Yeah, but it's not likely because traditional markets are totally closed. The futures are closed. Spot trades closed for traditional markets. I think those algos aren't going to do their tricks and crazy stuff over the weekend. So I don't anticipate, an invalidation kind of happening and then it races up on Monday. I don't see that happening. Because markets are closed. I think it's going to be crystal clear, cut and dry, almost black and white with a small shade of gray right here in this area. So hopefully you find this helpful and useful and perhaps profitable. And again, nothing I said here is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure you click this video right here if you don't know how to set up a chart. It's a 28-minute trading view tutorial video that I made just for you. If you don't know how to set up a chart like mine, click this video right here. If you want some futures trading tips that could really propel you within your profitable crypto journey, you just got Timified Worldwide. Enjoy the weekend.